We've got some more news about the upcoming EA Sports College Football 25 video game to talk about. Now, as you know, over the last couple of years, I've been going over everything about this game. Anytime there's a leak, anytime there's a bit of news, I'm on top of it so that you guys are always up to date. And with the game being just under 2 months from release, we're getting more and more information almost every day about this game, or every few days. We're getting some leaks, we're also getting some official news being reported on the game as well. And over the last couple of days, we've gotten a bit more information to share. Now, if you are new to the channel and you don't want to miss out on any of the information about this game, especially the gameplay that we're going to be getting very soon, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you never miss any of these important videos when they go live. And also make sure to follow over on my social medias because I'm going to be doing quite a lot of giveaways for this game when it actually releases. So if you want a chance to win free copies of the game, you can follow me over there, as that's where I'll be doing my giveaways. Now, we got a few different things to cover today, which is pretty exciting. This is the most news we've gotten for the game, probably in a few weeks or a month now. There's definitely a few different things to talk about. We got an article from USA Today where they dropped some official information about the game, where they confirmed something that we weren't 100% sure if it was a thing or not. We had heard rumors about it. They confirmed it, which is really cool. We've gotten some more video from Chris Fowler, the lead announcer for the game, where he spoke a little bit more on it. And we've gotten an interview with Matt Brown that dropped today. And if many of you have been around my channel, you know that Matt Brown has been the #1 reliable source of information about this game, as he's gotten stuff from schools, he's gotten some stuff from EA themselves. He's been really the only one true, I guess you could call, leaker of the game who hasn't just been posting BS. Everything that he has posted has been true. So he kind of went a little bit deeper on some of the things about the gameplay today, which is pretty cool. So we're going to cover all of that. First, let's talk about the USA Today articles. So they put out an article late yesterday that said EA Sports College Football 25 will have various broadcasters, Kirk Herbstreit confirms. And the article says there will be more broadcasters in the booth when EA Sports College Football 25 drops this summer. ESPN's Kirk Herbstreit will return to college football video game franchise that will be released for the first time since 2013. He will pair up with ESPN colleagues Chris Fowler to be on the call for games. In most sports video games, there's only one broadcast team calling the games, but when the new college football video game comes out, Herbstreit confirmed there will be other teams. He said, "Chris and I won't be on every game. You're going to have different broadcast partners for different games. Depending on the magnitude of the game, that will dictate who's calling the game." Herbstreit's confirmation of different broadcasters in the video games comes as there has been speculation of various other announcers in the game. Herbstreit has mentioned it in an earlier interview but didn't confirm if it was true. Daryl Holt, the senior vice president of EA Sports and general manager of its Tiburon Studios, said there are several details of the game, including on announcers, that he can't divulge yet, but a full reveal of the game should be coming in the next few weeks. "The people that we've announced are the ones to focus on," Holt said. "This is college football coming back. It's not just college football coming back for 1 year. So there's an element to establishing the foundation, the first release of what we wanted to get right and focus on, so that's where we're starting. It doesn't mean that there's not open opportunities for us to continue to think about the sport, the game, and how we represent." Holt said, "When the franchise was announced, we got calls from people asking us, can I be in the game? Can I be the voice? Can I be the commentator? That was a huge surprise," he said. ESPN's Reese Davis, Desmond Howard, Jesse Palmer, and Kevin Connors have previously confirmed that they will have a role in the game, but didn't state what it would be. David Pollack, a former ESPN college football analyst, also said he will be in the game. There's also been speculation that Fox Sports will also be involved in the game, which would include its college football broadcast team of Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. Different announcers calling the action in a sports game, video game, is something not often seen in recent years. NBA 2K has a group of announcers that will be on the call for its various game pairings, while Madden and MLB The Show have one commentary team. In the last edition of NCAA 14, ESPN was the sole network that was the pregame show, halftime show, and in-game updates in Dynasty mode. Previous editions of the game included College Game Day. Now, them confirming that there's multiple announced teams is actually a great thing because that's not something we 100% knew. It was a rumor, and we did know that these other voices like Reese Davis and Kevin Connors would be in the game, but we didn't know exactly for what. And that still doesn't mean that we know every announcer that is going to be in the game. Like they said in the article, if Fox is going to be part of the game, which has not been confirmed, but if, then that means we'll get some of these other guys. But we do know that of the names we've heard so far, we know that Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler are going to be the main guys, and we know some of the other people they mentioned are going to just be a part of College Game Day, or they're just going to be an in-game analyst. I think Kevin Connors might have been the one that said that he'll just be having some lines in the middle of the game breaking down certain things. But in terms of who the other announced crew is going to be, that we don't really know. So that's a pretty big deal, and something that definitely keeps games like this fresh. It's one of the better things that 2K does because it keeps things from being too repetitive. That's one of the biggest gripes of Madden over the past decade, is that it's been the same announce crew and a lot of the same lines each year. So it's been so repetitive that you almost know what they're going to say before they say it. And so So we know that they're doing extra work in this game to make it a lot different than Madden and a lot deeper than Madden. And this is just one of those things that confirms that that is true, because commentary is such a huge part of these sports games, and this is something that it looks like they're getting right. Now, really quickly before we continue, I do want to mention that today's video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Now, if you love sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog Fantasy playing their pick'em game. Basically, you could pick anywhere from 2 to 5 players to go higher or lower on a wide variety of stats, and if you get them right, you can win some big money. Now, the best part about Underdog Fantasy is they always give you a free pick at sign up. For example, if you sign up right now, they're going to give you a free play of Luka Doncic to literally just get a single point. If he gets that single point, that's it, you win. This weekend, they'll give you Anthony Edwards, and throughout the NBA playoffs, no matter when you sign up, there will always be a pick just like this to take advantage of. And if you sign up using my promo code RAY, R-A-Y, they'll also give you a deposit match of up to $100, meaning you can get a free $100 to play with, and you just can't beat that. Now, speaking of announced crews, we also got our last update from Chris Fowler, where he spoke on some of the lines in the game and just some of the depth of the commentary as he's officially wrapped up recording for the game. So check out that video right here.
That's a wrap from my part of the voiceover work for the EA Sports college football game. I'm told more than 115 hours over about 2 years. It was a wild experience. Kirk and I did some joint recordings on the final session, covering some analysis in the booth. If your quarterback throws 5 interceptions that you continue to call nothing but pass plays, that is analyzed. If your team goes to triple overtime or beyond and it becomes a contest of 2-point conversion plays and your defense picks one off and runs it back for a pick 2 to win the game, that's in the game, along with a crazy reaction. Got done reading more than 700 player names in the game. It is an incredibly detailed process. I couldn't be more impressed with everyone at EA. Total pros who care so much about the quality and sweat the details. EA is going to release much more information about gameplay, etc. Cover athletes, I know, before the end of the month, so keep an eye out for that. It was a really cool experience. Couldn't be more proud to be part of this stuff, but I'm also glad to have my office back for the first time in a couple of years. I moved all the sound equipment out. Now I can see the walls again, which feels pretty good.
So once again, I mean, it just sounds like the commentary has pretty much covered everything that they could possibly cover. They left no stone unturned, which should be really interesting to not only hear some of these crazy calls in the game, but I like how he specifically mentioned the emotion of the big calls, because again, that's something I feel like Madden kind of lacks. You don't get a lot of emotion in the commentary. It seems very bland a lot of the time. And I think with this game, especially with guys like Chris Fowler, you're going to get a lot of that energy when big things happen, and that's just going to make the game feel so much more realistic. Now let's move on to the Matt Brown interview that dropped a little while ago, where he dove a little bit deeper into the game and certain aspects about things. So I'm going to cover some of the stuff that he said, and then I'll play a quick video of one of the bigger things he talked about. But he did say that he still expects the reveal for this game to be in the middle of May, which would be about 2 weeks from now. But once again, I'm going to reiterate, like I said in my previous video, maybe you missed it, they might not drop that information in the middle of May. It might come in the 3rd or 4th week of May. That is something that EA has done in the past. Now, from what Matt Brown is saying, he does believe everything that he's heard, that it is going to be the middle of May, and he has been pretty reliable when he says things, but that doesn't mean that things can't change. EA changes things all the time. They'll have something planned to drop this week, and then it'll drop next week. They'll push it back a week because they want to capture some different footage for something, or they want to do something a little bit differently. So my thing here is, if information or the trailers don't drop smack in the middle of May, that doesn't mean the game's getting pushed back. That doesn't mean the game isn't coming. They might release something in the last few days of May, but as far as we know, they're definitely still putting out all of the big info this month. And he said specifically they're going to dive into all the specific questions that people have had. They're going to go really deep on the game modes and the gameplay and kind of cover all of those questions and concerns that people may have going into this game. That's kind of what they want to show us in May. Obviously, we're going to probably get the cover athletes, the official release date, the trailer, but they're going to dive deep into some of these things and give us a lot of information on it. Now, one of the things that Matt Brown spoke on was the transfer portal and like the recruits and stuff like that. He's talked about it in the past, but he dove a little bit deeper in this interview. So we'll check out this quick video right here.
One of the things that I've heard from developers who've been working on this game that's been a priority is this idea of wanting to make the dynasty recruiting mode different, and it's particularly to help. I want to say like less of a grind, but so the player would feel more attached to particular recruits. I guess through many of the previous years of this game, lots of people are playing Dynasty mode, but it's their data would show that the majority of those are only 2, 3, 4 years, rather than people necessarily doing a 60-year-long dynasty. And so if there's there's tweaks that can be made, so like, hey, if you're signing a guy in week 6, you could see that he runs a 4.2 40. You want to be excited to play with that guy next year. You want to already be thinking about how you can incorporate that person into different packages. And then you want to have some drama and a sense of reward and success as you go through that process. The other thing that was really reiterated to me, and I think is one of the really fascinating game development questions, how to make this as realistic and accurate as possible while still being fun. And I think you and many of your colleagues at On3 know better than most what an absolute grind roster management is right now in college football. And I think if we made this game exactly how it is in real life, it wouldn't be fun. It'd be way too hard. We'd all have gray hair. The game would be texting us at 2 o'clock in the morning to go text recruits or something. It'd be a mess. So you have to figure out, okay, we want this to be realistic, right? We want to have transfers. We want to have NIL. We want to be able to rebuild your roster beyond just high school recruiting. But where is that slider? Where do you set the line to where it's approachable and accessible? It's still fun.
So again, this all sounds really exciting. It's the depth we want. We want to be invested in the game and in the players and in our teams that we're building. And again, this is something that Madden has just kind of been missing. Even though they've been trying to make franchise mode a little better the last few years, they've been bringing stuff back that they took out of the game. They've been adding some stuff. It still feels like it's missing some of that life about it. It feels a little dead at times, or even a lot of times, depending on who you ask. And it just sounds like everything we've heard about college it's the exact opposite of that. And while there are some similar people on Madden working on NCAA, there's also a lot of new people they brought in for this game. So I do think, unless something crazy happens, I do think we're going to get a special game here. And I know that's what the football gaming community is really hoping for, because it's just been a while since we've had a special game. Like, there's been some Madden games that I've thought have been fine over the years, and there's been some that I've thought have been bad, but we just haven't had a real special game in a while, something that we just wanted to put so much time into and we just genuinely thought was an amazing game. And to some people, they may say NCAA 14 was the last game like that. So a lot is riding on this game to deliver, and so far everything we've heard has been right, but we'll know more in the coming weeks, and then of course in July when the game officially drops. Now, we also got some info about who the cover athletes for this game might be, multiple cover athletes, and if you want to check out that video, you can check it out right here on the screen.